Hello and welcome. I'm Vineet and you are watching Current Issues. The Millennium City, Gurugram, saw yet another rather unmillennial sight when commuters were stuck for some time as long as 9 hours in a massive traffic jam. Rain caused the Badshahpur drain to overflow, leading to waterlogging and gridlock. But Gurugram over the years has been notorious for its traffic congestion, courtesy the deficient road infrastructure coupled with multiplicity of government agencies having jurisdiction over roads. Gurugram is a unique city, home to some of India's largest corporations and large number of affluent white-collar workers, but a pothole-riddled, waterlogging-prone narrow city roads surely paves way to regular disaster in the Millennium City. Let's hear what the regular commuter and Aam Janta has to say about this catastrophe before we open our debate.
अब हम लोग वापस जा रहे हैं क्योंकि पता चला है कि आगे पानी भरा हुआ और ट्रक उल्टा हुआ है होंडा चौक। हम 7 बजे के निकले हुए दिल्ली से तो 2-3 घंटे हो गए फंसे हुए।
आके ना तो पुलिस वाले साइड बदल के रास्ता खुलवाने लग रहे, ना कोई और होमगार्ड वाले खड़े करते हैं रास्ता में, रुकाने बाद चलान करने वास्ते होमगार्ड ना खड़े कर लेते हैं, चलान काटने के लिए तैयार खड़े रहते हैं, कोई जाम नहीं खुलवाते पुलिस वाले। यहाँ की ट्रैफिक पुलिस खत्म है यहाँ की।
मैं मानेसर जा रहा था भाई, आज वो 3 घंटा हो गया।
जो हमारी नाइट शिफ्ट थी ना वो वापस आ गई है, ड्यूटी नहीं गई कंपनी यार। और अब सुबह से यार खड़े हैं हम 8 बजे से यहाँ पे, और पता नहीं और किस टाइम तक पहुंचेंगे कंपनी।
So let's straight away jump into this debate about the Millennium City, which is called Gurugram now. And I have with me in the studio Mr. R.G. Gupta, who's a town planner. Sir, thank you so much for talking to us. Sanmeet Kohli, who is one of the sufferers and one of the commuters of this catastrophe that transpired in the Millennium, the new smart city. And of course, I have Mr. Aman Pawar, spokesperson for the Congress, also joining us. Aman, thank you so much. And we have Mr. Shashikant from Chandigarh, who is the former DGP of Haryana. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for talking to us and being on Current Issues. Sanmeet Kohli, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Now, this commute for you is going to be a memorable one, but only for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I would totally agree to that. I probably left my office on Sona Road around 5:15 yesterday, and I had to commute to Noida, so I reached around 11:45 last night. In between, I had to.
So you left at 5 p.m. and you reached at 11:45.
Yes.
Almost 7 hours.
Almost 7 hours.
What was going through your head? Were you agitated? Were you frustrated at the administration? The kind of governance that you got to see?
Yes, I was, because what it looked like was everything was they were not proactive. Everything was kind of reactive. They were not prepared for it. It looked like that it has happened suddenly. They have never seen rain. That's what it looked like. People were like totally I don't know what to say.
They were clueless about what to do. Mr. R.G. Gupta, town planning is something that precedes before the town is developed and brought into existence, but not in Gurugram's case.
Gurugram is a part of NCR, National Capital Region, which plan was prepared, approved in 1985 by the board. The details of Gurugram are also seen in the NCR Planning Board. I was also there as a part-time. Details are there. People don't implement it. I just give the example of Delhi. If you see Delhi, many floods come. When floods come, everybody becomes very cautious. But afterward, nobody cares for this one. If you see the plan of River Yamuna, we started preparation in 1987, then prepared up to 1992. The complete details, how the water should be cleaned, how the water should be sent to groundwater from surface water. All the details are there. But unfortunately, 92 plan was approved even by the then Prime Minister. But people are not implementing it. Till the government implement the plans, maybe the floods, maybe the earthquakes, maybe the any land use, the problem will not be solved. So my request is from everybody, from the government, maybe A, maybe B, maybe C, please implement the plans. Details are available in the plans, but somebody has to work it. Somebody has to do it.
Okay, the plan is available, and Gurugram, according to the current government, Aman, is not only a smart city, it's a super smart city. I'd love to hear your reaction. Aman.
Vineet, it is very unfortunate that, you know, Gurgaon, which we call India's global hub, came to such a standstill just after 3 hours of rain. I wonder, had this rainfall been for longer, what would have been the situation in Gurgaon? And I have been told that the basic pre-monsoon preparedness which the authorities were supposed to take under, that was not done. The desilting of drains to ensure that, you know, the nalas, the drains are clear and they can really carry the rainwater. These are the basic steps that the government should ensure. However, it is very unfortunate that the BJP government, which came to power saying that they will be a game changer government, actually turned out to be just a name changer government.
That's a good one.
Today also, if you see, the Haryana Chief Minister says that his aerial view and this aerial tour of the city could not happen because there were rains and all. So is it now, when the city has come to a standstill, that you are taking all these steps? What were you doing? Were you sleeping till now? Did you not know that monsoons have arrived at least a month back? What steps has the government taken for a month? And same is the situation in Delhi. That both the chief ministers, they are, you know, actually busy just blowing their own trumpet. There Mr. Khattar was just now organizing that happening Haryana summit. Here Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is spending hundreds of crores on advertisements. And both Delhi
And Aman, just
Gurgaon,
to refresh your memory, the
suffering
Khattar government
immensely.
is also very creative in blaming Arvind Kejriwal for, you know, this jam. But however, let's also get a reaction from Shashikant, who's the former DGP of Haryana. Mr. Shashikant, what's going on in Gurugram? You know, like Aman just pointed out, that the government which came 2 years ago, except, you know, changing the name of this particular hub, a corporate hub, they haven't done anything. Now, you've been in the thick of things. What is really categorically, elementarily wrong with Gurgaon? Why can't it sustain itself? This time it's the rain. Earlier it was, you know, the traffic, the cars, the bad roads, and yet everybody is gravitating towards Gurgaon, and the real estate prices don't seem to stop.
You asked the question, what's wrong with Gurgaon? I'll say, what's right with it? One thing I fail to understand consistently, that governments trumpet accused the previous government and said that the next government will be still the more culpable in each and every sense. None of them trying to do their job. Just now I was listening to the discussion which is going on. It was coming in that the plans are there, plans are not implemented. But
Well, it's not only the roads, it's not only, you know, how you deal with the rain, Mr. Gupta, it's also the civic amenities, you know, the power supply, the water supply, traffic management. I'm told that, you know, for the entire Gurgaon, you have less than 1,000 cops actually monitoring the traffic. And you call this a millennium city, a super smart city? Not even a smart city, it's a super smart city.
In any city, there are 50, 60 elements of services: water, sewer, drainage, power, telecommunication. Then aapka roads, highways, state highways, then the metro, then monorails, then super fast trains. Many things are there. Then education, health, security, safety, justice.
Right.
All the things have to be there. But people don't care so much. They care simply commercial. They simply care for the industrial. They simply don't care so much for the traffic solutions. You see traffic increasing day by day, density increasing day by day, number of trucks, all the time we say don't allow any truck in the city. For this we propose the integrated freight complex come wholesale market at the border.
But how can you not allow trucks into the city?
Just
Anybody
so
who's coming from Rajasthan, anybody who's coming from Jaipur has to cross Gurgaon.
For one point you prepare the freight complex come wholesale market, they will come only up to that point. From there the small trucks, small traffic will go, the small vehicle will go from there. This has to be done. So far ISBTs, many ISBTs are to be there. Not only the bus can start from anywhere. You see, planning attention has to be paid for the planning. Maximum attention should be paid because this is required by everyone. And this can be paid, but somebody has to be started.
Okay.
You
Well,
see, Delhi, we prepared a very big plan of River Yamuna, about 28,000 crores, after consulting the Pune institutes. All the details are there, but people are not implemented.
okay, and let's not forget, Aman, now coming back to you, real estate is the reason why, a lot of people gravitated towards Gurgaon, and real estate probably led to a lot of development in that area. A lot of corporates, a lot of other companies, big global companies wanted to settle down in Gurgaon. But the one fact that is, actually, a city's appeal, a corporate hub's appeal, is its infrastructure, how the city is planned. As far as my information is concerned, there is no particular data, there is no particular dossier which can even tell you or tabulate the number of people that live in Gurgaon. How can you plan a city, call it rather a smart city, if you don't know the number of people? At least have an estimate, and plus that, there is this, multiplicity of agencies which take charge of, constructing roads, providing amenities. So it's a grand mess.
Exactly, Vineet. See, real estate is one part of it. Building houses is just one part of it. Then providing civic amenities, providing water, sewage, electricity, all has to go hand in hand. You cannot just build houses, allow builders to build houses, and then leave the city just at the God's own governance. The governance has to come along with the infrastructure. So what is actually happening today is that how they actually gave this city the status of the mega smart city, but after that no work has actually been done in Gurgaon. Even the basic, as I pointed out, the basic preparedness that should have been done before the monsoon season, that was also not carried out this time. And I wonder that after this jam, how many of the ambulances were actually stuck there, how many life support systems were stuck there, apart from the general inconvenience that people were facing. It is a big threat to the life and the right to life of citizens who are staying in Gurgaon.
Okay, Sandeep.
And it is the government which should be held responsible.
Right. The government has to be held responsible.
Why and how did this happen?
And we have a commuter, Sanmeet Kohli, who's with us in the studio, and he's witnessed this travesty firsthand. Sanmeet, the first question I asked you was that how you felt about this entire episode. Now, do you think that the people of Gurgaon should actually come together and form some sort of a forum which addresses these problems, because they have lingered on for too long? Some of the resident welfare associations, they have to come together, because it's the future of yours and it's the future of your children that is at stake. If a city and the government that runs that city cannot provide the basic amenities that a city should have, what are the actions according to a citizen that should be implemented, should be galvanized, so that this mess is not repeated here on?
I think definitely, and looking at the civic body's apathy, like they have absolutely no concern. That's what it looked like, and they have been looking at and highlighting that NH8 was total jam. But I can tell you, like almost all of the residential societies had water till knee high. So it's not only the highways; it's every residential part or every small alleyway
or
builders
who
everywhere.
Build those apartments also.
Yes, absolutely.
That had no sense of planning.
Sure, or probably they just looked at the square foot area, whatever they can get leeway with, and that's it. So,
okay, Mr. Shashikant, there's another problem now. You've been the DGP of Haryana. There's a report in my hand that tells me that only 335 personnel are available to manage the city's huge traffic volume. Now, these are embarrassing numbers. I'm not sure whether these numbers are correct, but according to what transpired in the last 2 days, I think it's probably even lesser than 335. This is a travesty.
Yeah, I'll go in for a slight modification. I was not DGP of Haryana, but I was DGP of Punjab. But again, whatever figures you stated, unfortunately, that is the state of affairs in most of the so-called metro cities that we have across the country. And coming to the problem pertaining to Gurgaon, I just would like to draw our attention towards one particular thing. Whether it's being developed properly or not, that's one thing, but have anybody tried to estimate what is the quantum of money, what's the amount of money which people have been giving to get their posting to Gurgaon? It is a hub not of development, but it's a hub of corruption. Whether it is civic amenities, whether it's officials going there, and how much of money is going down the drain. They talk about from 10 to 25, 30%, which is only taken in as bribes in various developmental projects.
Okay, let's get a perspective from the holders of the current government. I have with me Mr. Ashish Sood, who's a BJP leader. Mr. Sood, thank you for joining us. A lot of commuters have been stuck in this massive millennium jam, and a lot of them left home without any prior knowledge or inkling whether they are going to be stuck for 7-8 hours in a traffic jam or not. So obviously they were moving around without any food, without any water. Now, as per the information we have, a bottle which costs about 20 rupees in the market is being sold for 60 to 70 rupees to those people who were stuck in this jam. What is being done? What is happening to Gurgaon?
Look, for the last many years, it is a result of poor planning, poor civic planning, number one. Number two, Gurgaon and Delhi are very well interconnected. The Honda Chowk, which is waterlogged, the water from the Badshahpur drain has to come to the Najafgarh drain. So in the neighboring state or in the NCR region, there has to be a better coordination between the NCR governments also. And as far as people charging more of a 20 rupee bottle, charging 50 rupee of a bottle, this is very pathetic. We should understand that we should, the businessmen should not be taking undue advantage of
Mr.
the
Sood,
situation.
the Khattar government has been in power for the past 2 years.
Yes.
Apart from changing the name of Gurgaon to Gurugram, what according to you has the incumbent government done to facilitate the lives and improve the lifestyle of people living in Gurgaon?
A lot is yet to be done. Lot many initiatives have been taken up. Like the more funds have been allotted for the civic bodies of the Gurgaon, better drainage system to be developed. But you will have to understand, Khattar government has received a legacy of problems. For last many years, the skyscrapers were being constructed there without proper planning. So you can't expect a government. Yes, the present situation has happened.
Okay, I want Aman to listen into what Mr. Ashish Sood is saying, and Aman, I want you to respond to what Ashish is saying. He's saying that they inherited a lot of problems from the previous government, and that is why this mess has been created. So this mess is not their doing, it is something that they inherited. Now, is that an excuse or is it a bona fide reason for inaction?
I think the way Mr. Sood has just reacted, it seems that it is the Congress party which is actually governing Gurgaon and not the BJP. And thank you, Mr. Sood, for blaming the Congress for this jam. It has become, a habit of the BJP that everything that goes wrong, it is because of the Congress. You are in government. You have your government in the center as well. At least now, at this point, try to take some responsibility. The basic desilting of drains was not done by your government. Today, the commuters are suffering, and you are passing the buck that, oh, it happened because of the Congress.
Congress representative, your Yuvraj has been claiming all these schemes as yours. What scheme center government brings?
You are saying that the jam happened because of the Congress.
Claims it to be your schemes. Schemes of the UPA regime.
Do you have any shame? You are in the center for 2 years. You are in the state government for 2 years, and you are saying that it is all happening because of the Congress.
This is pitiable. You claim Manrega to be yours. You claim every Digital India to be yours.
Vineet, I would also like to say
Mr. Ashish, just
that as matured politicians, Vineet, I would only like to say that as matured politicians, we should try and we should at least learn to take responsibility when we are in government at least. It seems like that BJP has not overcome its opposition phase yet. Even now for today's mess, they are blaming the Congress. What are you doing?
No,
Sleeping
we are
for
not
2
blaming
years?
anybody. You are mistaken. We are just bringing out that the present situation has
You
arisen.
changed the name of the city from Gurgaon to Gurugram. What else have you done for Gurgaon? Please tell us. List out the pre-monsoon steps you took to avoid this menace.
It has happened in last 2 years. You intend to
What
say this?
steps did you take
If you want
before
to
the
say
monsoon
this, what
season?
steps
What
is-
steps did you
Okay,
take before the
let me-
monsoon season
let
to
me-
curb this menace?
Let me
Mr.
break this
Sood, please tell me
gridlock.
that.
Aman, let me break this gridlock. Mr. Ashish Sood, we have a commuter who's with us.
I have a simple
Aman,
question.
I'll come back to you.
I have a simple question. Mr. Sood should tell us what steps did the government take before the monsoon season to avoid this menace. Did they? Had they taken, today we would not have
Right,
faced
and
this
I
situation.
want Mr. Sood to do that without politicizing the issue. I want him to, list down a set of deliverables which were promised probably before the elections in Haryana, but are still pending. Mr. Sood, go ahead.
I was not politicizing the issue. It is the problem of the Congress representative. They intend to take the.
You said you inherited a legacy. For everything you inherited a legacy.
When your Yuvraj claims that Digital India was UPA scheme, don't you feel ashamed of it? And when we talk about you mean to say Gurgaon has become like this in just
Sir,
2
we
years?
are talking about Gurgaon. Please come back to the topic. If you don't have anything to say, please leave the
You
debate.
come back to the topic. When you are exposed, you want to come back to the topic. I was talking about the topic. I intend to say the present mess has happened because of the poor planning. Khattar government has allotted lot of money for the civic bodies of Gurgaon, and that money to be implemented on the
And nothing
ground
happened in 2
will
years.
Take time. Will take time. It will not happen overnight. You cannot construct a train at some place and
2 years, sir. 2 years you have been in power in Gurgaon and for more than 2 years in the center.
You were here in 10 years, Mr. Aman. You were here for 10 years. And
Okay.
Never,
let me
never
once,
this
let
kind
me
of a
once
jam
again
was
interject.
faced while we
Okay,
were
this
in power.
gridlock has lasted for too long. Mr. R.G.
History is
Gupta,
witness.
Mr. R.G. Gupta,
History is
who's a town
witness.
planner,
Never this kind of a jam happened while we were in-
Aman and Mr. Ashish request you to just let Mr. Gupta put in his point. He's been quiet for some time. Mr. Gupta, go ahead.
Please forget the past. Create a development authority for Gurgaon, number one. Number two, give the powers of section 6, 7, 8 and 37 like DD. DD has the powers to plan, to develop, to implement everything of Gurgaon.
Mr. Gupta, how about a new drainage system? How about a new sewage system?
Please plan
How
it.
about providing outlet to this water, which has probably, left a very, very dark mark on people like Sanmeet who are in the studio?
Please plan on the paper, implement it. The powers are there. In the Act, power should be there. So far, there is no authority there to develop, to plan, to develop and implement it. Create that one. It won't take any time. It won't take any money also. Please prepare the detailed plans, maybe water, maybe sewer, maybe drainage, maybe power, maybe telecommunication,
Okay.
maybe gas lines, everything.
Okay.
Then you start implementing.
Sanmeet, how do we expect to lure people who want to invest in India, when most of the companies are based inside Gurgaon? And obviously, word nowadays travels faster, than lightning. Obviously, they would find out that, Gurgaon is the hotspot where the recent, millennial traffic jam occurred. A common man's perspective as to how will companies who want to, have an enterprise in India, who want to buy in the promise of Make in India, view at this problem that Gurgaon has been facing?
One main point to that would be, because Gurgaon is considered to be probably a shining beacon to lure all the outside MNCs inside India to invest. And it's very difficult to imagine that, because when you see the news in the morning, the headlines are saying, please stay away from Gurgaon. Gurgaon traffic police is saying, please do not come, do not take NH8, do not come to Sona Road. That's very disappointing, and it's a shame actually, because one way we are saying, please invest here, please come here. Otherwise, we are afraid of them that we can't handle it. We can't handle the traffic in that way. So
okay, let me bring in Mr. Shashikant again into the debate. Mr. Shashikant, traffic jams are nothing new. In developed countries also, they have traffic jams, but those traffic jams are not because of, a broken, a faulty infrastructure system. Probably India and a few other countries are the only places where traffic jams occurred because of lapses by the government. You've been in a powerful situation. What is the solution to the problems that Gurgaon is facing? And we are still not referring and talking about security, which is another big concern in Gurgaon. We are not talking about electricity, which is a big concern again in Gurgaon. We are not talking about, water, which is a big problem in Gurgaon. We are talking about controlling traffic.
Yeah, I'll say this thing that, look, as far as Gurgaon is concerned and whatever has been happening there, I'll squarely hold these two political parties whose representatives are sitting here to be responsible for that, Congress and the BJP, along with, of course, the town planners who could not go in for road engineering, who could not go into the proper aspects, all the aspects of the engineering and development of all infrastructural facilities there. And now what's been happening in these states, like our country, I talk of developing countries, our problem is basically corruption and lack of planning, lack of implementation, lack of fixing up of responsibilities, etc. Of course, jams are happening all over, but they are not account of this flimsy ground that the drainage was not cleaned or that was not, there's been some water logging or something. I'll say that it is about time when people have to rise. I'm talking as a layman, and as a layman, after checking up my service, I know the amount of corruption which exists in each and every sphere of the government life. I have been saying it earlier also and fighting with it. It's about time that people get up, they form their own societies, and they sit on judgment of these gentlemen who belong to one political party or the other, or one town planning, or one board, or one office or the other. It's about time that we people, as vigilante groups, sit on judgment of the performance of these gentlemen. That is the solution.
Okay, Aman, coming back to you, we don't have much time. All those people who, who voted the Khattar government into power, what must be going through their minds right now? Is it very disappointing to watch governments come and go, yet your problems always seem to persist?
See, what the people are facing has been well reflected by this one gentleman who was available on the show with you. But I would only like to give a friendly advice to the Khattar government that instead of spending crores of rupees on advertisements that you are publishing in Delhi, Punjab, etc., kindly spend some money on the infrastructure of the state. The people of Haryana have voted you with confidence. However, all their dreams, all their aspirations are being shattered day by day. Few months back, I would not like to actually name the incident, but those agitations also were a very horrific sign of the administration breakdown. Again, today we have seen that the Haryana government, the Khattar government has completely failed in terms of administration. They better wake up early.
Well, definitely, people who voted for the Khattar government and, the common man who lives in Gurgaon wants better amenities, and hopefully the Khattar government will live up to the expectation of the people of Gurgaon. Mr. Gupta, Sanmeet Kohli, Mr. Aman Pawar and Mr. Shashikant, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your thoughts with us. That's all we have on current issues right now. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.